Hello, welcome everyone. I hope y'all having a great day today. Have a good weekend. So how you guys all been doing? Let me know in the chat. You can hear me clearly or not. If I'm coming out distorted. Because I really don't know what's going on in your guys' end. I could tell that something good on my end. Ready for another night's virtual concert. Trying to see where my trying to set my audio correctly. So let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me or if I'm coming off distorted before I start, you know. Just waiting a couple of things here, make sure everything's on. Tuning on my guitar. Tune my guitar up. There we go, yeah. Make sure it's tuned. I know every once in a while keep my instrument well in tune in order to sound good, otherwise it's not gonna sound good. So I'm just trying to get things going over here, and so. So let me know how you all guys have been doing. Having a good week so far? I guess I'm gonna start it slow tonight. Let me see something over here real quick. Oh, there's Mary. There she. Waiting to get started over here to get the party rolling. Oh, there she is. Oh, welcome. Hello, Mary. How are you?
Hello. I was just waiting for my computer to decide that it wanted to work today.
Well, okay.
It was going like really, really slow. I guess I didn't give it its morning coffee this morning.
Right.
Welcome, YT. How are you? So, how are you doing, Alfonso?
I'm hanging in here, you know.
Do
I'm
we have a choice?
hanging in here, man. I'm trying to do my best, you know.
But I'm saying, do we have a choice?
Nope.
We just have to keep going.
Yep. Been tuning up my guitar. Because, you know, after a while it gets out of tune if I'm playing it, you know.
I have my tea. I have my crochet. I'm all set up.
Set up for...
Snuggle
Actually, it's
is-
still hot here where I'm at.
Well, it's not really cold outside. I just decided I'm going to get comfy clothes and just sit and enjoy a cup of tea and crochet and talk to a good friend.
Yeah,
I'm
actually,
sorry about last week. I really dropped the ball,
oh, no,
and
no worries.
I told
No
my daughter.
worries,
I
you know,
said,
you know what, I kind of ended early because I was feeling all tired, too.
I told her, I said, I had a really bad fibromyalgia week last week, very bad
Oh,
pain week.
right.
And it totally put everything out of my head. And because of that, I just totally forgot about anything. And I thought, oh, it's 9:30, and you text me saying I'm having difficulty. I'm like, wait a minute. We were in the middle of Uno, and we were laughing so hard. And I thought the only thing I can do is just at least be in the chat, make sure everybody's behaving themselves.
Yeah,
I should have texted you on Thursday and said I won't be able to come because she was coming to celebrate her birthday dinner.
right.
But we had, and usually they come, and they usually by 9 o'clock they're gone. But they came on a Saturday, so they were able to stay later, and we got into a long game of Uno.
Right.
And we were just we had so much fun. It was an hour and a half long game. We finally had to decide who had the least cards. That's who won.
Right.
They didn't leave till like 11 o'clock. So I was like, I totally slipped on that one, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's alright. No worry. I understand.
And I'm trying to figure out in my head. I'm going to get you the thing going on with Mocha this week. Now that I've kind of got the cookie thing underway. And if you've got a good cookie recipe, I want it.
Okay. I have to look through because, you know,
If you have a good cookie,
I haven't done any cooking, any baking since 2013. Because since the Commission for the Blind, you know.
Yeah, do you have a cookie recipe you used to make in New Mexico?
I have to look through my recipes. I have to look through all my files because I have them stored somewhere on the cloud.
Look and see if you have one that hits a nice spot and has a nice little story with it. And you can send it to me, or anybody else can send me their cookie recipes.
Right.
Because we're doing the hashtag Blessed Cookie Connection 24. And that'll be a lot of fun. And it's just trying to bring everybody together, whether you have content on your channel or no content.
Right.
So now that I've kind of got that set up and ready to go, so that's all set, then I will get you Mocha. But I've got to figure out a way to do a saying that says, so proud of being me because everybody else is taken.
Yeah.
I just quite don't know what I want it to look like yet. So I have
the
to
font, right? You don't know what font you want?
I don't know if I want it on an image of somehow, and then it's one of those I've just had to say, okay, it's going to take a while to. The saying's there. It's just the image has to bob in my head because it's so true. We need to be proud of who we are because everybody else is taken. God didn't make more than one of us. Thank goodness.
Right.
I think some of us, one is enough.
Actually, on my music video, I see my music video on my channel. You know, you have Alfonso and the clones, right?
Yeah.
So for my clones playing each instrument.
Yeah, but there's still only one of you.
Right.
So even though they're the clones that you were able to produce, there's still, when it comes down to Alfonso, there is only one Alfonso.
Right.
And that's it. Everybody else is taken. So if you do that, then you stop trying to be everybody else.
Right. But you know what? I had a commenter a while back because I started the clones 4 years ago, and I remember someone commented on my video, man, like, how did you really clone yourself? Like, what'd you do? Like, they really fell for it.
Well, do you see? Did you? There's another guy, and I don't know who he is. I'll have to get him and send him to you. But there's a guy on, I think it's Facebook or something, and he does the same exact thing. And he clones himself, and there's about 3 or 4 of them, 5 sometimes, and he's actually done it. All the Bee Gees singing or what have you, and it's just amazing how he does it,
Yeah.
just like you're doing it. So, you know, I thought either he has 5 brothers that look exactly like him, or he's done something with the editing work.
Yeah. But I tell you what, like, some people really believe that I already got cloned. That I had my DNA sample sent to a top secret lab in White Sands.
Well, there are people that do an astronomical amount of money and clone their dogs and stuff, and I'm sitting there going, no, I don't want to have another one. I love Mocha, but I will be, I only want to have one of her in my existence on this world. I
Yeah.
don't think I would want another Abby. We had Abby, that was our first dog, and I'm like, I don't think I'd want another Abby. Because it still wouldn't be the original one. It would be a copy of her, and you can't beat the original one.
Because I
I
thought when you copy
I nature.
when you make a copy of someone, you copied everything, the brain, everything, right? When you
Yeah,
make a
it's
clone.
making a clone, and there's people. I mean, it costs an exorbitant amount of money, but I'm like, I have no desire of ever going
Because they're
and.
actually doing that White Sands missile range at the military base. One of the top secret labs. They're
I'm
actually
just
doing that
like,
stuff.
nope. I have no desire to have anything to do with that one. They can have
Because I
that one
thought
all
a
to
clone would be
themselves.
a good replacement in case something happened to the original, right?
Well, you have to think. We start doing that, we're playing with God. That's my
Right.
way of I looking at it. If you know, He didn't make me and then produce 3 or 4 of me. He made one of me.
Right.
And if we're trying to clone ourselves, then it's not a good. I just think it's we're messing with the wrong. That's my way of looking at it.
Right.
I could be wrong, but that's how I
And
look at it.
one of my coworkers was telling me, hey, what if I get myself cloned? I could just stay home, play a video game, and send my clone to work.
It's like your twin sister or something like that. You know what I've started watching? Because a lot of times when I have a project with crochet,
Yeah.
and I'm actually working on it right now, somebody commissioned me for 3 more blankets. So I'm working myself to get them done because there's an actual time deadline on that.
Right.
And I am watching Dallas. I'm telling you what, I thought I had a complicated family tree. I have nothing on that one. And, but I can say, even though it has a lot of drama and all that kind of stuff, I said to
Right.
my mom, compared to some of the shows today, at least it's not in your face with a lot of
Right.
stuff, you know? And I'm sitting there going, I have nothing compared to that with this person. But I started watching it because when I was about 8 or 9, I had this horse that my grandparents got me, and my uncle put it together, and I was riding this, full size rocking horse in my
Right.
grandmother's. It was just kind of a kitchen and living room, family room kind of thing, and I wasn't paying a bit of attention to the show. She used to watch that every week, and so she wasn't doing anything like that. They'd sit and watch it, and the song for Dallas came on. And my grandfather said, "So what are you going to name the horse?" And I said, "Dallas," because it just came on. And I said, "Yep, that's it." And he later on, my mom said he had to tell people that I was named it after the Dallas Cowboys because he didn't want to say I named
Right.
it after the show. But I just thought, well, I've never really seen the show, and it's free, and I've got this project, so why don't I get involved in another series? So it's been quite interesting, and it's so funny because Josh will come in. He's watched some of it, but he hasn't paid attention to it. And he'll come in and he'll be in. If I'm still watching an episode, he'll go, "Well, what about that? And what about that? And what about that?" And I said, "Sit down and watch it with me, or don't ask any questions because I don't think I can explain it."
Right.
It's a riot. I said, "It's so funny." He said, "I thought that person was with this and that." I said, "No, I can't explain it." I mean, the writers in that show, the storylines were unbelievable as far as all. I think that takes a lot of talent
Right.
because there's like 11 seasons of that show to keep people interested that long.
Right.
So anyway, but I think when we start trying to duplicate ourselves with clones and all that stuff, I think we're messing in territory we don't need to be messing with.
Okay.
But your kind of cloning is perfectly fine. No harm, no foul.
My kind of cloning is different, right?
Your kind of cloning is safe. I think when we start going to clone our dogs and clone people, then we're messing in things we shouldn't be messing in. Like I said, I don't think I could have another Abby and say that this is exactly like Abby. Because it wouldn't be exactly like Abby. Even though
I thought it would be all the same.
It's all the same, but it's not. It's like, it's the original. It's like, I don't know. Have you ever seen Knight Rider?
No.
Okay, well, you're missing out. But Knight Rider came out, right? And then they decided to do a reboot. And they did a reboot on Knight Rider. Many, many years ago, later, they did a thing. And I thought, well, I liked the first series. And so I'll go ahead and watch Knight Rider. I watched about 5 minutes of it and I shut the thing off. And I said, it's never going to compete with the original. They tried, but it's never going to do it.
Right.
So if I had a clone of my first dog, it'll never be Abby.
No.
It'll look like her. It may act like her, but it's never going to be her. I can't reproduce her. She was one of a kind. Even though she was a dog, every dog is different.
Like everything, the brain, all that, and all the information.
It does, but it's still not the same as the original.
Right.
You're making a copy.
Right.
You can't copy a living thing.
Right.
If you look at like even all the giraffes and all the animals that have the spots, right?
Yeah.
If you look, their spots are just slightly different, just a little different.
Right.
You know, there's little things that are different. Not everyone is exactly the same. Right. And I just can't wrap my arms around it, head around it. And I hope we don't start getting into cloning anybody because no, I'm happy being one of a kind.
Yeah.
And if we think about it, honest to goodness gracious, if we sit back and think about it, how many people are in this world? How many people have come through this world?
Right.
And God and all of those people never made a duplicate. Maybe in image-wise, but not in here.
Right.
I think it's pretty amazing.
Right. Yeah, because like I said, some of my commenters on my channel really fell for it, and they said like I think probably like a teenager saying that he wanted to get himself cloned so he could stay home, play video games, and send the clone to school or to work.
Okay. Try.
Not have to worry about it.
I wonder how expensive it'll be. Millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And, you know, our hearts go out and our prayers go out to all the people affected by the storm. That was just terrible. I think they've got another one coming around. I said to my husband, I am so glad we don't live in Florida anymore.
Oh yeah.
It's not a place I ever want to live. And the leaves are turning. Oh my goodness, they are turning.
Yeah, I just heard a lot of bad things about Florida.
Florida is a wonderful place. I have a lot of wonderful memories. Right. The traffic is horrendous. Um, and you don't have the green. You have green all year round, and you don't have a dip in cold weather very often. You know, so if you're not somebody that loves the snow and don't like the change of leaves, and when people don't realize in Florida in the summer you're in the house because it's too hot,
Right.
and in the winter time you're outside. But then you, if you're down, especially in South Florida area, you have what is called the snowbirds. So
Right.
you ain't going out much because the traffic goes from just bearable to absolutely horrendous. And so it's not terrible. It's different up here to live because if we're going any place, like to go to church, it takes us a half an hour.
Right.
So I remember when my aunt came up here, she was just surprised, like, how far is home away? And I was like, oh, it's 45 minutes away. No, no problem. No worries. It's like, what? Because everything's close. I mean, you roll
Yeah.
into one
Because
town
you're
and
in the
you're into,
city. Yeah, in the city. And
yeah, it's a whole different lifestyle. It's a different culture. It's a different experience. Um, the farthest place I would go in Florida would be Disney World. If I ever have grandchildren and they go to Disney World, I'd love to be able to do that because my grandparents used to take me to Disney World every couple of years. And the
right.
other place that I would love to go is back to, and I loved, was St. Augustine. That's as furthest as this girl is going, is that. And I think you'd probably have to knock me out to even get me on the roads in Orlando because that is unbelievable. But St. Augustine is, I love St. Augustine. And I have a dear family member in Jacksonville that I probably would want to go see if I ever have a chance to be able to see her.
Right.
I love Helen, Georgia. Oh, it is just breathtaking. I love that little town. Um, but no, I have no desire to go back to South Florida or down there. Nope. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Ohio
You
was
know
very
what?
nice.
I need to say this, but according to the National Federation for the Blind, Florida is not a good place if you're blind or vision impaired.
Well, I think too it depends if somebody's there. I think that we forget how important it is to be an
Right.
advocate and to be able to have somebody to fight for people that are struggling with a disability.
Right.
I
But here's the
think
thing:
that,
in Florida, there's a case recently that happened a couple of years ago by James Hodge, a 60-year-old veteran. He got arrested for carrying a white cane. A white cane is considered a firearm in the state of Florida.
and I think too, there is a position of it is a much bigger state
Right.
where maybe there's stuff going on all over that you're not hearing as much. But
Right.
because it's down in a big city like that, you're hearing more stuff.
Right.
And I'm not somebody who totally trusts the news either.
Well,
Sorry.
this is more from the National Federation for the Blind. Like
Maybe there was some other facts that they didn't tell. You know. It
it
was
also
in,
hit the news too. It hit the news as well. So,
it
the
was
National
kind of,
Federation for the Blind is encouraging blind folks to leave Florida. Like they're helping, providing resources to get them out.
it was kind of interesting because a news article came out the other day. Now, Elvis has been gone since 1977.
Yeah.
And of course, his autopsy was sealed for 50 years. And they came out the other couple days ago and said it's not had anything to do with the drugs he was taking or anything like that. It actually had to do with a brain injury he had from 1967.
Right.
He actually fell and hit his head really hard and was knocked out. And it was because of that brain injury and that inflammation he experienced all those years that contributed to his passing in 1977. And the doctors totally missed it.
Wow.
It had nothing to do with the fact that he was on the medication he was on or overuse of prescription medication. Nothing. It was
Right.
from a brain injury, from what the autopsy report says, from 1967.
Wow.
That was interesting.
Yeah, and then
So you never know.
but then they tell the public that it was from a drug overdose.
Well, when Elvis passed away, Colonel Parker, which I am not a fan of at all, suggested highly that the records of Elvis's passing were sealed, and the autopsy was sealed. So they stated it to be sealed for 50 years. Well, the 50 years has come up, and now they can release it.
Wow.
But to come to find out that he didn't pass of that, he actually passed of. It's a very interesting article to learn that it actually was from a brain injury that just took a while for 1967.
But you know why is that? Because life insurance. Because the life insurance don't want to pay out. That's why. It could be.
I don't think so, because the life insurance would have had to see a copy of the autopsy. They would have had to see it. They would have been allowed to see it. But
Right.
for public to see it, that was the thing that was kept from the public.
Right.
So I'm just saying, you never know. You know, it's sad if they're struggling, if they're doing that with people, to leave.
Right.
But I also think that we need to be a bigger advocate for people.
Right.
I've had to be an advocate for my daughter for years. And I've had no choice but to be an advocate of a child with special needs.
Right.
And I said to her today, we were talking, and I said, Christina, I said, I know you don't want to be listed as someone with autism, but I said, I'm going to really encourage you to start becoming an advocate to be able to erase the stigma of autism, because it's there.
Right.
And have people look at autism in a very different way than the way it is done today.
Right.
And I said, you could be a voice and a stigma for it, and to get rid of it, instead of being ashamed to announce to the world, I'm autistic and I'm proud for where I stand, because this is the way God made me.
Right.
And look what you're doing, Alfonso. You're showing
Yeah.
the world. I may be legally blind, but I'm playing. I'm doing stuff I enjoy. And that should be something you should be very proud of.
Yep. Proud to be me,
You sing that song like Scott did, From the Rooftops.
Yeah.
I still get that part where he does at the end, and I have at the end of my outro.
Yeah.
Every time it plays on my channel, I just get the goosebumps, because I know he's singing it from the rooftops.
Yeah. Proud
So
to
when
be
are we
me.
going to start with Christmas songs? After Thanksgiving?
I want to say after the elections.
Okay.
After the elections.
You're going to get people in the Christmas spirit then.
Yeah.
We're not going to wait till after. Okay. So if anybody has any request that Alfonso may have, because I know that there's not a lot of people in the chat, but you may be listening on the replay, go ahead and put some songs that you would like him to sing for the holiday season in the comments, so he can start putting a list together, so he can make sure that he is playing your favorites. So you could get a little list going if people have certain favorites of songs.
Right. Yeah, so I'm going to start off slowly tonight.
Beautiful. I like that. What's the name of that song, Alfonso?
Madre eres ternura.
What does it mean? And
Mother, you're tender.
oh, okay. I don't know if we're frozen.
We sing it in our church with the last group that I was in. The group that fell apart before I went to the Holy Cross. That threw me out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Check, 1, 2, check. And I do an old country gospel. The camera out of the view. Mary.
There we go. No, it's not. You're fine.
Today I went down to the place where I used to go. Today I saw the same old crowd I once I used to know. When they asked me what happened, I tried to tell them. Take the Calvary, I don't come here anymore. Take to Calvary, I'm not the man I used to be. Take to Calvary, things are different than before. Past the tear and I'm again as to tell them. Take to Calvary, I don't come here anymore.
I've never heard that song before.
Never heard it?
Nope.
And that's an old song.
What's the name of it?
Thanks to Calvary.
Oh, okay. I've never heard that song.
The first time I heard it was by the Latin Messengers, an old gospel group from Las Cruces, New Mexico, like that from the 1960s.
That's one I've never heard of before. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and also I think the Statesman Quartet also sings it too. Hobie Lester and the Statesman Quartet also sings that song, Thanks to Calvary.
Beautiful, beautiful song. John walked in while you were playing. Lydia's here. Sandy Wendy's here.
Well, welcome all. Thanks for coming.
We're just hanging out.
Yeah.
Talking. Rolling yarn. At least on this side.
Yeah.
Show you in a minute. How do I get this?
Well, I'm kind of disappointed there. I got the cupcake.
Oh, it's somewhere. I
Yeah.
thought it was in the mail, but it's not yet. So you're going to get your cupcake.
Yeah.
Just waiting for it to get back here. God bless you. I'm waiting for it to come back here. But we thought it was, but I've recently, whether it works or not, we'll see. But I've recently been given a TENS unit
Right.
by my doctors to help with the pain, to see if it helps just a little bit. And of course, they send me the pads for it and stuff. And that's coming from Denver, Colorado.
Wow.
So when my husband saw that, he goes, "Oh, the cupcake's on the way back," and then he didn't realize that was also where the pads were coming from.
Yeah, Denver's big, you know.
So,
It's not just Denver, but you got in the metro area, you got like Lakewood, Littleton, Arvada, all the cities around Denver, Aurora.
so he thought
Pharmacy.
it was the cupcake, and it wasn't. It was the package that we were getting for the pad thing. So
Wow.
when that does come, I will resend it out. But I'm just waiting for them to send it back. Okay, you're not going to get all twisted now? Okay.
Yeah, but you know what's bad about the post office in Aurora? They're pretty bad when it comes to packages being returned. They just, from what I'm hearing from others, they just discard them and destroy the package that are not deliverable instead of returning them.
Here we go. I finished the one for our pastor, but this is the new one they're working on. So it's going to be saying, I'll read it in a minute, but you can see the word starting. So the person I'm making it for, it has their name of I muted it, but you can start seeing their names appearing on this side, and then their birth dates appearing on this side. And then it's going to say, you start these blankets from the bottom up. So it's going to say, God knew our hearts needed you.
Right.
And so this is the one. Pretty colors. It's got like a mint green and like a dusty rose. And like a linden in the middle. It's really pretty. So that has to be done because by November, because it's when they would like to give it to the little one. But this one's, I've just started working. I got the one for the pastor done. I just have to tie in all the ends on that one. But this one has, so I thought, well, these are coming up quick because they're not as wide as the one, because they're smaller. They're for a baby, so they're not as big.
Right.
So I'm trying to get this done because then we have the craft show in November, and I've got things we got to do for that. So like trying to get this done, and I still have to. I'm still knotting away at that other blanket that I'm finishing for a commission blanket. So my little hands have been busy.
Yeah.
You wonder why I haven't gotten Mocha over to you yet.
Now I'm gonna play Jesus Hold My Hand.
Okay.
Hold on. Here, get the organ sounds I wanted. Okay, now here it is. Jesus Hold My Hand. That was Jesus Hold My Hand. Mary, I think you're muted.
Give me a minute. There we go. I'm putting in the comments the where I get the pattern on S. That's amazing.
Etsy.
So if you want to know where I got that pattern, that's where it's from.
Okay.
And she's got 306 patterns on there to choose from.
Well, that was Jesus Hold My Hand that I just played.
It was
Actually, the way I
beautiful.
did it, we have a piano at our store for sale. One of those upright acoustic pianos.
Yes.
So what I did, I recorded it and Jeff brought the recording home and used that.
Beautifully
Much.
done.
Yeah. But I don't know if you could tell the difference between the acoustic piano versus the digital, right?
Yes,
Keyboard.
just a little bit.
It still don't sound the same,
I don't notice it as well as you do because I don't have the ears for it like you do. Telling you, you have good ears for that. I just listen and go, oh, it's beautiful music.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. So is it starting to, is it still hot where you are?
Oh yeah, still we were like the upper 80s, low 90s.
So it hasn't started to get cold. Have you the change of leaves happening yet?
In the mountains, but not here.
Oh, they're happening here. They're so pretty. I never get tired of them.
Right. I think the fall is the best time that I enjoy the most.
Me, absolutely, because I had to live with Florida for 40 years of non-turning leaves.
Yeah, but Florida, it's all palm trees, basically, right?
Well, no, there's other trees too as well, but they don't. There's no turning leaves.
Right. But you know what? Because Florida's a tropical climate, you're pretty much close to the equator. That's why.
Yeah, I know, but I had to live without the turning leaves, so I totally 100% enjoy it now that I've been able to be up here.
Yeah, where down in New Mexico, where I'm from, the way the climate is, you get really long summer from April all the way through October.
See,
and then you get like fall from November through December. Then winter from January through February.
You know what we'll do? Believe it or not, I know it sounds crazy. My husband he's hot.
Yeah.
Even in Florida, it was just too hot for him. And so he likes things like really cold. Like we keep our house like at 70, 72 degrees because he just likes it cooler. And so in the winter, if it gets a little too stuffy in our room, I will literally open the window and go to sleep and I just I can't wait for that. It's like I enjoy that. Gets a little hot, I just open the window and cool it off. And my husband will be out in 30 degrees weather in shorts. No joke.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. He loves the cold weather.
Like my brother-in-law like that too. Like up here, because my brother-in-law is originally from Indiana,
Yep.
From back east. And
what part of Indiana?
Indianapolis.
Okay. So Christina was born in Danville, which is not an hour away from Indianapolis.
But he said that winter here is like nothing to him, so he could be out in shorts.
Josh was born in Columbus. I lived in Danville. I also lived in Clinton. I also was which is close to Terre Haute. So, and then when we go, if not every year, but his family will get together for Thanksgiving. So we'll go down and see his family in Columbus.
Right.
Spend a couple days. So his aunt and uncle have a house, and we go and stay there.
Yeah, Columbus, that's the capital, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, Indianapolis is the capital.
No, Columbus, Ohio.
Yes. And we're about an hour and a half away from Columbus. Like we can get to Columbus in about an hour and a half.
Right, not bad,
No. But like Patty could get to the airport because she flew out of Fort Lauderdale, which is Patty's my aunt.
Yeah.
And she could get to the airport in 15 minutes. It took her an hour and a half to get to the airport here.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't believe this. And I said, well, welcome to living in a small town, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. And my mother likes the summers. We like the winter and the fall. And she's like, this is not her time of year. She likes it when it's warm.
But when I lived in New Mexico, if we need to go to the airport to drop my brother off, whatever reason, we had to drive like in La Cruz, we had to drive like an hour to El Paso, and then when we lived in Alamogordo, we drive like about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
To the airport.
The close. We can either get to Columbus or get to Cleveland, but we like going out. If we do, we like going out of Columbus. But we don't take flights very often. It's not something that I really want to do very much.
I have no experience in flying.
I'd rather take the time and go the back roads.
Yeah. Countryside, yeah.
I'd rather be on the ground. He's got the banjo out, everybody.
Yep. You don't see the banjo very often, right?
I think it depends where you're going. And, you know, I think it does make its appearance. I just think it just depends what kind of genre you're doing.
Like bluegrass, country western, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Got it tuned up.
He's all ready to go. hear me sing. Well, Christina, on the other hand, yes.
Yeah.
And we should do something where the two of you can kind of do some songs and she can sing, because that would be nice too.
Yeah.
She's
We have to
got a
get
nice
on.
little voice.
Yes. That'd be a good one, you know.
Yeah, she would enjoy that. She loves Christmas.
Yeah.
And this is my daughter's channel. If you would please go over and give it a subscribe, we would greatly appreciate it. And please give that thumbs up and subscribe to Alfonso and put all your notifications on so you can never miss a concert. But we're trying to get Christina on or up there, because I know she really wants to try to go. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I know. I don't hear those. Like I got a preamp on my banjo, like the pickup.
What does that mean?
It's just like running straight to the mixer.
Okay.
That way you don't have to play as hard, you know. You can play
I don't like-
amplify.
Just like, okay. It sounds good. That's all I know. Is it sounds good. It's just amazing to me how many talents people, God has given all of us.
Yeah.
Everybody individually. And we need everybody in this world. That is for sure. I think he's thinking of his next selection.
Yeah.
And we'll run for about another hour. And so if you all have any requests, if you want to put them on there, if he knows them, he will try to play them.
Jesus, keep me from all wrong. That I want to close to walk with thee. Randy Jesus, it's my plea. Anyone close to thee. People, life is all. Cling for me evermore. Guide me gently, safely to thy kiss and shore, to thy it's my
Beautiful. Sandy Wendy's asking when the roll is called up yonder. I will be.
yes.
She's saying,
Yes.
Alfonso, do you know that one?
Yes. When the roll is called up yonder.
I had a feeling you would.
When the roll is called up yonder. Now here it is.
Beautifully done, Alfonso. Beautifully done.
Thank you.
And Sandy Wendy says, awesome.
Thank you. Here's another one called Till the Storm Passes By.
And that is to all the families affected by the storm.
Yeah.
I think we should dedicate that to all the
Yes,
people that
I agree.
Are going through all the mess that they are. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Let's hope there's no more storms, but I think they've got some more coming.
Right.
Which is just so sad.
There's 3 more coming up.
Yep. Oh, if anybody needs it, there is a great page, and I will put it in the chat. Mike's weather page. We used him a lot. He's just he's not a meteorologist, but he's just someone who's very knowledgeable. And so I will put his page in the chat. If anybody wants updates of the storms, or they've got family, or he has also, he was in the mix of the storm too as well. So he's a great resource if anybody needs to be able to, wants some updates and the upcoming storms as well. So I've been plugging his channel because, I still pay attention to it because we're still have family down there. And Sandy says, do you know the old rugged cross?
Yes. Yes.
So I'll put Mike's weather page in if anybody's interested in having that as a resource.
All right. Here is the old rugged cross by request.
Sandy says, thank you.
You're welcome.
Beautifully done. And that's what we need to go running back to, the old rugged cross.
Yeah. I just love the way the organ sounds,
Yes. Beautiful on the organ.
Yeah. Like, I just wish I had the one that Scott Thompson used.
You really liked his album, didn't you?
Yes, but I like the Hammond organ.
Yeah.
With the big Leslie speaker, the cabinet, we have the pedal boards on the bottom, the 2 manuals.
Maybe one day. But I don't. Do they make them? Do they make that brand anymore or no?
Oh, Hammond's still around.
Yeah.
Back their models right now they're around $3,000. They're portable size. It's like a digital version of the Hammond organ.
I know Scott said there was nothing like once you played on the organ to go from the piano to the organ. It
Right.
was just there was nothing. Because he even said when he did that album with the
Yeah.
"I Got You Covered," he said, "I really wish I could have done it on the organ because there's just nothing like that sound."
No, no, no. Because on the organ, you got the nine drop, and you got the nine drawbar per the manual. You got three sets of drawbar, like one for each manual, like for the top, the bottom. Then you got another set for the pedals.
Yeah, he just said it sounded good, but man, it would have sounded so much better on the organ.
Yeah. Yeah, because on the organ you could customize like the drawbar settings. Like I said, you could customize like
It's a richer sound
yes,
than the piano has.
yes.
I have to send you. I don't have to look on YouTube's and see. It's probably there.
See, you could customize the sound on the with the drawbars.
Let me stop for a minute. When you're doing the little bobble things on these things, you have to kind of count. And when I start going, it's like I'm focused on making sure I got the correct number of things. See
Yeah.
if it's in here, Crystal.
Trying to find- Like just kind of what the drawbar is.
Before I forget, because I meant to send it to you and sure it's still there. Crystal Cathedral. My brain. But maybe they would have like a, because that organ, I remember that the whole thing, and it's a place in California,
Right.
and it is literally all glass.
Wow.
Okay, so that's the playlist. I will send it to you before I forget.
Right.
He had something on called the Hour of Power. That's what he had. But this
Wow.
thing was just, and the organ coming from here was unbelievable. And I remember he had the Hour of Power and it was on, and it was just unbelievable to listen to the organ.
What kind of organ was it? Like a big pipe organ, or was it the
I
Hammond?
don't know which one it was. Let's see, it was a Presbyterian church. Let me see if I can turn this up. Can you hear that?
Yeah, that's like a pipe organ.
It was unbelievable coming from this church. It was all glass.
Yeah.
All glass.
Yeah, that's the big pipe organ.
Yes. Unbelievable. It was called the Hour of Power.
Right.
And so that's what you need to look for. I'll text it to you so you know what to look for.
Right.
But
Yeah, I've heard about those big pipe organ. Those are super loud and powerful.
she says the hazel white pipe organ. And Sandy Wendy remembers the Hour of Power. But
the hazel white pipe organ.
yes, I found it on the internet. Massive organ. But this place was unbelievable. The whole thing was glass.
Wow. I mean, the whole building, right?
The whole building was glass.
Wow.
That's why it was named Crystal Cathedral, because it was all made out of glass.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yep. And I remember sitting there and watching Hour of Power and watching. He was a Christian. It was Robert Schuller, something like that, was the pastor. And he did that for many years.
Now, don't you think like the pipe organ? I imagine the reason they don't use pipe organ anymore because it gets it's too overwhelming, right? The loudness.
Well, I think it just depends which church. It's like a church like ours, wouldn't we have a piano?
Right.
A pipe organ would be too overwhelming. She emailed me the link. Okay. But I think it all depends on what, there's still pipe organs out there. I think it just depends. I don't think if you're in a small arena, you can't have a pipe organ. It's too much.
Like too much power, or you might damage windows or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's my theory behind it, but
Also has to go with the acoustic.
Like it'll be too loud where people will start complaining, right?
Yeah, and it also has, like Josh said, it has to also depend on the acoustics of everything too.
Right.
If it can handle it.
Right.
I know in our church, and we didn't have a huge church in Florida, but we had an organ. It wasn't a pipe organ, but we had an organ.
If one of the small consoles.
You need a big venue. That's what, it was an organ. It wasn't a pipe organ, but it was an organ.
Yeah, everyone like the Hammond, like the smaller consoles,
Yeah. And I agree, Sandy. It needs a bigger venue.
Right.
But I think his son now is the minister of the Crystal Cathedral in California.
Yeah, like I said, because when I was going to church, the church I went to in New Mexico down in Las Cruces, on Our Lady of Health Church down there, the acoustic is so bad, like so much echo, and like you can't even hear what the priest is saying, like so much reverberate.
Well, if they don't have carpet,
it's all like tile floor.
Yeah. I mean, that's where, I do not like carpet at all. They renovated the organ. Oh my, you've got to be kidding me.
Oh my gosh.
$72 million to renovate an organ.
Maybe to upgrade or
to renovate I will keep my mouth shut. I could get in real trouble.
I could have done a lot better.
Oh my god.
Yeah, those big pipe organs are expensive.
We would have had some land.
I know, but At that point, I would find out if it was worth it. Honest to goodness gracious, to
Because if they have
renovate
to
the
replace the
organ
pipes and all that, yeah, that's
for
gonna.
that much.
You know what it was? It was because it was a famous place.
I know, but I have a I just.
They had money to burn.
I'm not begrudging anybody that has money or how they spend it, but if you're a church, and I know they did because they had a lot, it's a very well known church, it has a lot of connections, it's out in California. But I just don't know if that's the right place to dump $72 million.
Right.
How many missionaries could you have given
Right.
to spread the word of Christ? I
Right.
mean, that's where it's like, was it worth it?
Who knows?
You
Well,
know,
if
I
someone's gonna
just,
really play it, then maybe. But if they just spend it to fix it and they're not gonna play it, then no.
well, I know if somebody's playing it. That's not, I know that people are still playing it because it's still there. But
Right.
it was like Josh and I were watching the show, and I can't remember what show it was. And there was this gentleman. And like I said, I am not begrudging anybody for what they make. I don't believe in socialism and all that kind of stuff, right? I believe in capitalism and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, he had those timer flippy things that you flip, hourglass, and it had
Yeah.
diamonds in it.
Wow.
I was fine till I heard the price. And then I think you probably could have heard me in Colorado, Alfonso, because I was furious. $30,000 for something that is going to sit on his desk so he can flip.
Wow.
Now, to me, that's stupid money.
Yeah.
If you've worked really hard to get where you are and you want to spend stupid money, that's fine.
Right.
But to me, to put something on your desk that you're going to just flip back and forth for $30,000, I sat there going to myself, and maybe it's because I was a single mother at one time.
Right.
Maybe it's because I've had to kind of scratch and, we've kind of always gotten by, and it hasn't come always very easily.
Right.
Is where it's like, do you know how many single mothers you could have helped with that? Do you know
Right.
how many vets you could have helped with that? But you're putting something on your desk just because you can put it there doesn't mean
Right.
you should put it there.
Right.
Go put cubic zirconias in the dang on thing and make it $100, and go take the $30,000. Go get 2 service dogs for a child with autism. Do something where you can say it's good other than something sitting there. I said to my husband, if I had been there, guess what? I'd have made sure that thing was knocked off his desk.
Yeah. Break
I mean,
it.
that's where my mind goes. If somebody has worked hard for the money and they have it and they're
Yeah.
able to have a house and all the cars, go for it. But make sure you're doing stuff on the side if you've been fortunate enough to get there.
Right.
Don't just throw it at a charity and hope it's going to do what needs to be done.
Right. When I was in the choir in New Mexico, when I moved from Alamogordo to Meadow Lake, New Mexico, before going back to Las Cruces, I was in the small country church, small village church. One of the guitar players told me he bought a guitar for $200. Then he took it to get it blessed by a priest. And then he turned around to sell it for $2,000 on eBay. And he sold it. And then with that money, he bought another guitar for around $2,000. he took it to the priest, and then he got it blessed, and then he later, again, he turned around and sold it for $20,000.
If people want to have a belief in that, go right ahead, but it's not going to help you do anything. You know, I just think of what we had to go through to get Christina her service dog that was going to be $15,000.
Right.
And I'll never forget the phone call that I got at work. And I don't know what it was. No, it was from the news place because we got her on the television. And the news place, and they called us up and they said, somebody's donated the full amount. I said, what? It was a very well-known guy within the West Palm Beach, Boca area, and he just donated the full amount. And I'm like, he doesn't know. And I was able to talk to him and thank him, and he just said, did you get the money? And, yes, I got the money. Good. Then do it, then you got it taken care of. Don't worry about it. It was, it was fine, and I'm glad to do it. Wow. And it's just like, he didn't want any praise for it. He just wanted to do something because he saw what our situation was.
Right.
And it's like, I looked at what we did for my aunt to get her up here, and I'm thinking, if we come together as a community and we can do so much more than we can do separately. That's why with this cookie connection thing, when people give me permission to use the recipes in a future cookbook, I want to put that on our merch store in some kind of cookbook and then make it downloadable. And then I want to be able to take the money and give some to Gail's Broken Hearts Ministry. And I want to be able to give some to the Gary Sinise Foundation. And I'd love to be able to buy some Bibles with it.
Right.
But to me, if I took those funds and said, okay, people are giving me their recipe and I'm going to go take it and I'm going to sell it, that would be wrong of me to do.
Right.
Where can I take what people are giving and make sure that everybody, by giving a recipe, you are being a blessing to somebody else?
Right.
I just...
I have people give me harmonica and stuff like that too.
I'm sorry, that just... Go ahead.
I have people give me harmonicas and stuff like that over the years. Because they know that I'll play it. It's just unfortunate that they were down,
There was a lady today, and I didn't have the funds to do it, but there was a lady today. She had to put some things back, and I just sat there and I go, I didn't have it. It's the end of the month. Money's tight right now. And I just sat there and I said, Lord, I hope to be in the position. And I walked out of the store and I said, that's one of the things I want to be able to do. And of course, all my channel or my mom's channel all goes to her, so I don't get anything. But my mom sat there and said, Mary, with the channel, I hope that we can put a little aside. So if we're ever in a store like that again, down the road, we can have a little bit in our pocket and say, here's $10 towards your grocery bill. And where did we get this from? Where did this come from? From the community of our YouTube channel.
Right.
She said, Mary, that would be awesome. I said, yes, it would. Put a little Bible verse with it, be able to hand them that and say, here, this is from this community. I just think we can do so much more.
Right.
And you know what, to some degree, and I'm going to say it, that organ that they spent $72 million repairing is going to burn up one day.
Yeah. It's going to break down.
No, when the Lord comes back, it's all going, everybody. Everything that we have, even this beautiful blanket I'm making and the ones I've made, because he's going to wipe out everything and give us a new earth. So no know where you're going. You know who your Jesus is.
Yeah, I tell you what,
Hi, Linda.
um, when I was going to church in New Mexico, we had this priest. He was so funny. This priest that we had, he's from Cleveland, Ohio. But this priest was always funny. Like every sermon he gives after the homily, whatever. Oh my God, reading the gospel is so funny. Because one time, I don't know if I ever said that before, but he said that the week prior to our Sunday service, he had to give two funeral service that same week, and prior to those funeral, he had to go visit those individuals at the hospitals, one at the hospital and one in the nursing home. Well, the one in the nursing home says, I'm ready to go home with the Lord and play with the angels. Like he was giving me his last rites, his last confession, whatever.
Yeah.
Then the other guy at the hospital, when went to give his final confession and final rites, this guy said, "I'm not ready to go. I still got stuff to pack up and take with me."
You're not taking anything. And
And
it's not by works that you're going to get to heaven either.
yeah, and then he said, "Well, I'm taking everything." And
Good
and
luck.
then because he asked the family to start packing up his stuff and his furniture, everything in the house that he has. And then but but after that, when he did the funerals, when he gave the funeral services, guess what?
What?
He said, "I did not see a U-Haul truck there."
Exactly. You can't take it with you. I had an uncle that he he wanted to leave his daughter and his son
Right.
funds, right?
Right.
And he scrimped and saved the majority of his life
Right.
so that in the New Jersey article it could say that he left his child's, because I guess they put what they children,
Right.
what they leave so that he could say he left his children $1 million.
Right.
Now let's just understand this. His daughter, loved them both, was a lawyer, and the other one was an extremely intelligent lady. And guess what? They didn't need it.
Right.
He used to buy like little canned little baby shrimps at the store, and oh
Was he one on the like the?
yeah, oh my gosh, it was horrible. Oh my goodness. You leave this world the same way you come in, nothing.
Yep. That's what the sermon was
I don't know
about.
where he got. He came over and he brought Chinese food, and I had decided to spend the night over at my grandparents', right?
Right.
And so we're sitting around the table and we're eating this Chinese food, and I'm like, it was horrible. I don't know where he got it from. And we had the containers, by our plate. So I put some stuff on the plate, and then I quietly opened the container and stuffed it in the container because I was like, I couldn't even eat it. And my
Right.
dad would pretty much eat about anything. And my mother packed it up and sent it home with my mom. My dad wouldn't even touch it.
Wow.
I don't know where he got it from, but it was the most horrible Chinese food I'd ever had in my life.
Oh my gosh.
But I just kind of stuffed it in the. I stuffed it in there, but my lord, I remember that. But he was a nice gentleman. I love, nice gentleman. He was a character. He did very good with shopping for cars. So when it was time to go get me a car, he did a great deal on a car that lasted me 18 years. So I have some special memories of him. But he was a character. He was a hoot. but he also was raised in the Depression, so that also affected the way he lived.
Right.
You know, kind of what I went through on my live yesterday.
Yeah, and,
Oh.
but like I said, the sermon was about like we come into this world with nothing and we're gonna leave the same way.
Yeah, that's what Linda's saying. That's exactly right.
And like I said, like, but the one thing he said I'll never forget, like he said, if you're a musician, you could take your musical instrument with you.
Okay.
That's what the priest said. But I cannot. He said, but I cannot guarantee you if you're gonna be able to take it or not.
Okay.
Yeah. But he also talked about how some people are very greedy, like they want to take everything with them when they passed on, and leave nothing behind.
Like I said, go ahead and try.
Yeah.
It's not going to be very easy.
No.
Yeah, undo that.
Like he said, I can imagine. Because he said, like, I didn't see a U-Haul truck there, but I can imagine having a U-Haul truck there, unloading the furniture and all that, right, to the gravesite.
Okay, have fun.
Yeah. That ain't gonna work out.
Nope, it's not going to work out. I hate that when that happens. My hook sometimes gets caught on the yarn and then it makes it not look pretty, and
Right.
now it looks all funky. So the perfectionist that I am, I'm frogging, and I don't like frogging. Do you know what frogging means?
No.
Frogging means you're tearing your work out because you can't.
Right.
I can't fix it. So you're having to go backtrack and frog it out. But it's going to bug me if I don't.
Right.
It got hooked on the darn gone thing, and then it's not going to look right.
No, I'm gonna play Precious Lord Take My Hand.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, Sandy, frogging. I do not like frogging. But it was like right here. I don't know if you can see that. It was one of these bumps, and the hook got caught on the string on the outside, and it was just not going to lay like I wanted it to. So guess what? It had to come out. And I had to go back 2 rows, but it was worth it. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to my crochet work, especially if I'm doing it for somebody.
Trying to find the sound where I had it prior.
We have probably about 5 more minutes, and
Yeah.
I may hop off and hop on my channel for just about a half an hour, because
Okay.
just to kind of give people some chit chat.
Well, I'm gonna play one more called "Close to the Master."
That one's a beautiful song.
Close to the Master, will you?
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So remember, if you have any upcoming holiday songs you would like, put them in the comments below on the video, and he will start putting a playlist together of Christmas songs that you all would like to hear. So he can start compiling that, and maybe there's some songs that he doesn't know that Alfonso can learn.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, a lot of the Christmas songs that I like to play are like the traditional Spanish ones, like from Mexico, Colombia, Spain, from like European Christmas carols.
One of my favorites is "Oh Holy Night." I love that song.
Yeah. One of my favorite Christmas hymns is Star of the East.
I've never heard that one, so that'll be something we'll have to hear. But
Yeah.
he'll start doing it. He says after the election, he'll start with Christmas songs. So if you have some favorites, put them in the chat. He'll start playing them.
All right.
All right. Have a good night. We'll see you next week, everybody. Same station, same time, same Alfonso.
Yep. Unless
Okay.
something happens, you know.
Yes. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
All right.
Thanks
you
for
all.
having me again,
You're
Alfonso. Bye
welcome.
bye.
Bye.